What's up? Drop where you're from. I would love to know. Please like the video. All right. Just take a moment and hit that like button. If you have not already, make sure you are subscribed. I do have a lot of people who come and watch the videos week after week and they still don't subscribe. So do me that favor. If you have not, and turn on your notifications, we're going to get into it today. It's an exciting day. I hope you all are doing well. Let me go to the comments real quick and show some love. And let me show some love, making sure my computer is charged. All right. Drop where you're from as you come in as well. And please like the video again. What's up, guys? What's going on? All right. Let's see where you're from. Where you're from. Let me start to look over and see. What's up, y'all? Oh, let me turn. I can't see the comments right now. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Huh. Okay. I was reading something that I never saw before on StreamYard. All right. Where you from? Drop it in the comments. I want to see where you're from. Oh my goodness. I love it. Puerto Rico. I love Puerto Rico. What's going on? Bree said hi. Hey, Bree. What's up? Nebraska. Nebraska is in the house. Nashville, Tennessee. Chester, Pennsylvania. What's going on, everybody? I know it takes a little time to flow in. North Lauderdale, Florida. I have family there. Long Island, New York, Lafayette, Louisiana. What's up? I'm going to share something today that I think we should have all learned when we were younger. It would have been nice to know. It's interesting because sometimes, you grow up and you wish you would have learned a little bit more about finances because you'd be in a better position. And so if you are understanding a little bit more about finances, your finances and how to build wealth, please share it. Please share it with your kids and your grandkids. Just that's all I got to say. Please do share it. And I get like sometimes kids don't listen. So understand they're not always going to listen to what you say, but share it in a way that makes sense. Memphis, Tennessee, New Jersey, Detroit, in the house. Ohio is in the house. West Africa, Costa Rica. We got some international here, people here. Breezy Bree, what's going on? Miss you. Let me see who else. I miss Los Angeles and Texas. Yep. All right, let's get into this. Hey, from Alabama. Thank you for the compliment with the red. I was feeling red today. All right. Now, I want to share something that I think, like I said, we should have learned when we were younger. We kind of did, but didn't, probably, many of us. And this is for, first of all, if you want to build wealth the right way. And then also, let's see, how will I say this? Also, if you are feeling stuck, if you are feeling like you're trying certain things, like with investing, and you're trying to build something for your family, but it feels like you can't get ahead, and there's a principle that you got to understand where you'll never get ahead if you don't understand what I'm about to, talk about today briefly. I won't be too long. So let me make sure these comments are still on. So here's something valuable I want to share, and I'm going to explain what it means because I know we hear this a lot, but sometimes it's not real applicable in our investment strategies. Okay. And that is, hear me out. The house always wins. Okay. Now I want to talk about what that means. Make sure you like the video and subscribe if you haven't. If you watch these videos and you think they're valuable, please do subscribe. Again, like the video. It helps the algorithm. I'm not telling you what to buy, hold, or sell. I'm not your financial advisor. Please seek your financial advisor and counseling on what you should do with your investments. This is for educational purposes only. So I am not telling you what to buy, hold, or sell. I'm not telling you what to invest in. Okay. But I want to explain what that means. When I say the house always wins, and how to structure your finances in a way that makes you win. Because you're not going to win if you're playing the game that they're playing. And I'm going to even explain who they is. if you don't understand that the house always wins, you're going to keep playing a game that is not designed for you to win. And that's why sometimes it doesn't matter how much money you have in it. We just saw people who were over leveraged get completely wiped out. And as I stated before, I feel really bad. Found out, one of the guys killed himself in his Lamborghini. There was talk about several suicides. And I mean, my heart goes out to that. But this is not about just money. You have to understand what this phrase really means and where it comes from. Where it comes from is the casino. Okay, it comes from the casino. If you've ever gambled, it comes from gambling, guys. So you understand that if you're gambling, you're not going to win. Hey, from Lafayette. And so every single game in a casino, you got to understand this. This is like Monopoly 101. If every single game in a casino is designed to make you look like you got a chance, like over leverage. But mathematically, the house always wins in the end. And that is exactly how the financial system works. That's exactly, Tiffany said, that's what I thought. That's exactly how it works. Wall Street, big banks, the government, whoever, they are the house, okay? They control the odds, they set the spreads, they create the rules that you got to play by, and they profit whether you win or lose, okay? So when you over leverage, this is why I tell people, like, you shouldn't be over leveraged. They win if you over leverage. When you panic sell, they win when you do that. When you get into a play through FOMO, you buying it on the top, they win that way. They profit off your emotions too, not your success. Okay. I heard somebody say something real interesting today, and I was like, man, that kind of makes sense. Like, and what he was explaining was that he felt like, there's a 4-year cycle in cryptocurrency. And he felt like that the house that I'm speaking of, the institutions, the Wall Street, they're waiting on people to feel like a bear market is coming because it's a 4-year cycle. And his take on it is that there isn't a 4-year cycle. And if you think it is, then they're waiting on the normal behavior around this time that shows signs of a bear market, which is everybody starts selling because they get really fearful. And we know that there's extreme fear, in the market, especially what happened with crypto. And then they bring the price down, and then the institutions and all the big dogs, they come on in, they scoop it up at a low price, and then it gets pushed back up. And then now, because of FOMO, now people getting back in, but now they're getting back in on top. You know what I mean? So it's a whole strategy. And I was like, that may make sense. You know what I mean? But the house wins because of one word, and that's structure. Okay. They have systems, and you got feelings. They got data. You got dopamine. You want to rush, right? The house doesn't win because it's smarter. It wins because it's more patient. And I keep telling you all, it's from the impatient to the patient. The house don't get emotional. The house don't chase hype the same way what they call the peasants. That's what they think we are. You know what I mean? The retailers that, you and I, they think they're not going to win. What? Are you kidding? The house, listen to this. The house plays mathematical probabilities, and most people are playing emotional possibilities. That's the difference. There's a large gap. And that's why I'm telling you, the system is going to profit if you are impulsive. You know what I mean? If you are unstable, you're not stable with your emotions. If you're acting in fear, if you're acting in FOMO, if you're acting out of these emotions that make you make bad decisions, it feeds literally off of chaos. Your fear, your greed, the impulsivity, all of it, they feed off of that. And that's how retail money becomes institutional wealth. And we need to change that. So what do you have to do about this? Okay. This is what you got to do. The house wins because of the structure. That's right, Breezy Bree. Here is what you have to do. All right. Somebody said, love it. Hard to beat a great strategy with a system behind it. And that's absolutely right. What you have to do is you have to build your own house. Okay. And I don't mean a building, I mean a system. You really do. You have to build your own house when you create a structure that protects your emotions and that protects you from making bad decisions. It multiplies your opportunity. Okay. So when you think of a house, think of this. You got the foundation part. That's I would say that's like cash flow and cushion. Okay. Somebody said, God bless sis. Thanks for helping us. Absolutely. That's what I'm here for. So, so you have the foundation, and many of you all don't have a foundation. You don't. If you don't have, like, first of all, if you don't have cash flow, if you don't have, and there's a lot of ways to get cash flow. A lot of different. Now, some people think when investing that trading is the only thing that gets you cash flow, and that's not true. And actually, after this, I'm going to go in with my members who have joined and do something real quick with them, because I want to kind of dive a little bit into some strategy for them. But you have cash flow, and so that is your emergency fund, your high yielding savings account. Most people don't even have a high yielding savings account. They don't. And if you buying stuff still and you taking trips and stuff, you don't have a savings account, you don't have an emergency fund, you're doing this all backwards. Okay. You're just doing it backwards. Right. So you need that stable income stream. There's a lot of ways to do that. Like I said, but your foundation is your ground floor. And without it, the whole thing is going to collapse. So people just doing it wrong. You should not be spending if you don't have an emergency fund. You should stop all spending, and any spending that you would do that you don't absolutely need, you need to throw it into an emergency fund. It's good to have 3 to 6 months worth. It's amazing to have a year's worth, but most people, don't necessarily get at that point. But at least $1,000, like for a rainy day, if something happened, you're tired, birds, you need to get to work, whatever that looks like. I don't know, but you need an emergency fund. And then you need walls. A house has walls. That's assets that work for you. Okay. So these are long-term investments. I know you want to make money right now, but you got to store up for some long-term investments. What was the saying? I just heard somebody mention this, that they say, like, in order to build generational wealth, you got to be willing to hold a stock for generations. Okay. Again, it's a patience game. Okay. So long-term investments, your ETFs, your growth stocks, dividends, maybe even some of your crypto positions that make sense long-term, your real estate, whatever that looks like. These are walls that hold up your future. Okay. And then you need a roof, right? No house is built without a roof. What is a roof? Risk management. You need risk management. Okay. You're awesome. Bless your heart. Thank you so much. Yeah, we building our own house right now. We ain't gonna do this too much longer, relying on all of this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? You see how shady things get. You see how much market manipulation there is. You see, they don't want you and I to get wealthy. They don't. They want all their big wealthy people to get, wealthy friends to get wealthy. But you need a roof. You need risk management. Okay. Stop losses, your position sizes. Again, if you are totally over leveraged in one asset, like, okay, I know some people, like, everything they have is in crypto, everything, savings, and that's exactly why what happened. We got to learn from stuff like that. You should not be over leveraged, and you shouldn't have all your eggs in one basket. But anyway, your risk management also involves your own rules. This what keeps you safe when a storm hits, and a storm will hit, by the way. All right. Even diversification. Okay. It helps with risk. You got 4 seasons to life, y'all. It's 4 seasons. You can't build for one. You can't build for 2. Imagine really building think about this for a minute, you guys. I like to help you visualize this so it can be simple, because I'm a simple type of person, right? Imagine if you built a house for just 1 season. Like, you built it for the summer, and it's all open, no open window, like you in, you know what I'm saying, on an island somewhere where it stay hot all the time. Like, what happens when it starts to rain and you don't have what happens then? Okay, when a house is built, it's built for all 4 seasons. You got the air condition when it gets a certain, you know what I mean, like temperature. You got the heat when it get cold. You know what I mean? Like, imagine physically building a house, and you walk in a house and it's like, it's not built for any heat. You're not going to survive winter here. You're going to have to move and relocate to a different house during winter, or a different city, or whatever. So we need to make sure that we are building a house that can weather all four seasons. And then you have the fourth thing, which I would say is windows. Every house got a window, right? Hey, somebody became a new member. I appreciate that. And I'm sorry if I missed anybody. Okay, I didn't. Yeah, I'm gonna get on with the members right after this. And if you want to join, you just hit the join button. It's only $3.99 a month. Very cheap. All right. But you have the windows, and the windows is vision. Windows represent vision. So, you know, you have to be able to see the long game in this. If you only see today, if you only looking at today, you're going to panic every time the market shifts. Sometimes you got to look out, like sometimes even with crypto or stocks, and you're like, oh my God, it's dropping, it's dropping. And it's like, hold on, look out for the last year and see how high this thing went. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, you can't look at just short-term term gain or losses. You got to kind of, have better perspective, right? So you don't want to just look at today. You got to have enough vision. And see, most people, they keep trying to live in somebody else's house. Like this house that I'm talking about, most people are trying to live in somebody else's house. Just like I keep saying, most people are living in somebody else's movie. Okay. They're not the director of their own life. You one of the characters in somebody else's movie, and they're telling you which way to go and what way to be. And you know what I'm saying? And so if you're trying to live in somebody else's house, Wall Street house, corporate America's house, the debt system, all right, the debt system house, instead of building your own, you're gonna be in trouble. And when that house changes the rules, you're gonna lose everything. That's what they did a few weeks ago. That's what they really did. They changed the rules real quick. They see you over leveraged. They changed the rules. They crashed the market manipulation, but it can't happen if we have our own stuff together. So that's why I talked about building your own bank, whole life policy. I'll put the link in the description for that video. I think you should really go back and watch it. I'll walk you through how to build your own bank. Okay. And with just, starting with just a little bit of money. When you have your own structures and your own plan, your own strategy, you stop needing permission from them. Okay. You stop asking, oh, is it now a good time to invest? Should I do this? What should I do? Because I got to wait on you guys to Wall Street to tell me when to go. You know that it's always a good time to build, because your system, your house tells you how. And that's what I mean when I say the house always wins until you become one. Okay. And listen, it's not, hold on, I got another member. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I'll be with you guys after this in a minute. Another thing I want to say is it's not just about the money. Okay. You want to know what it's actually about, guys? You want to know what it's about? Building your house is about peace. See, most people don't have peace because they don't have things in order, right? It's about emotional stability. It's about having a system that don't shake you every time the economy does. Okay. So if you ever played, I'm sure some of y'all played Monopoly growing up, you already know the rule. The person who owns the property gets paid, and not the person who's rolling the dice. If you ever played Monopoly, right? In the game, the players, they are the ones that chase the chance cards, and the owner collects rent. That's the real world system. That's what we live by. Most people rolling dice, and a few people own the board. The goal isn't to roll fast, it's to start owning the squares. If y'all didn't know it, it's simple. Okay. And the truth is, you can't do that if you're not set up to do it. If you're not getting your house in order. Okay. And you don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be a genius to do this, but you do have to stop playing emotionally and start building intentionally. You have to get intentional about this. There's no other way. I always say you're not going to get wealthy on accident. It's not going to happen. Okay. Now, a couple of plays, because I do want to tell you a couple of plays. I mean, hey, take a minute and like and subscribe. I got a new member. Thank you guys so much. Like and subscribe. If you have not done already, please, it helps the video. Just take a minute to like this video and subscribe if you haven't. I'm going to tell you some of my plays that I'm in, just so you can kind of know what I'm still looking at. And one of the plays that I re-entered, I've talked about this before. I got out, but I re-entered, is Poet. I did re-enter into Poet again. Yes, I'm already up, because I got in on a support. Okay. So I'm already up. And I was telling my coaching group this earlier. I re-entered because the setup for me made sense. Okay. And I had a clear reason. And I say, if you get into a trade, you should know why. Are you getting into this trade because it's bouncing off of VWAP? Are you getting into it because it's overbought or it's oversold? Are you getting into it because the MACD line just crossed above zero? Are you getting into it because you see a pattern, a candle pattern recognition? Like, why do you see a bull flag forming? Like, why are you getting into the trade? And I showed in my group, coaching group earlier on the chart, I showed them, I told them and showed them why I got into the trade. Now, it doesn't mean that the trade can't be invalidated and it can't go left field or whatever like that. But I'm already up and I've already got some profits, and then I got some stop losses and profit. And so sometimes people will go and take the same trade, but it's still different because you don't know my entry, you don't know my strike, you don't know my expiration date, you don't know any of that, and that makes a difference. You don't know what theta, what delta I picked, what theta I picked. You know what I mean? So be careful. I'm not telling you what to buy, hold, or sell. Everything I say is for educational purposes only. I'm not telling you to go and buy Poet, but I'm saying you got to do your due diligence. You know what I'm saying? You got to put your stop losses in place. And I don't fall in love with plays. I follow principles. It's just that simple. If the play, I got lines in the sand where it's invalidated. And it's crazy. And, so if it does get invalidated, I'm out. Ain't no drama about it. Ain't no panic. I'm cool. Okay. And some people, like a player get invalidated, and then you'll come back and they'll be like, oh my God, I'm down. I don't have, what should I do? And it's like, you still in the trade. Uh-oh. You didn't have your stop loss. You didn't, but if you don't have a reason to get into play, if you don't know why you got into play, you're not going to know why you should get out. Okay. Y'all get that? If you don't know why you got into play, you don't know why you should get out. Right? I'm retired this July. What should be my investment income strategy? I can't give you financial advice here, but I do it in my coaching group. Okay. So I can't tell you what to buy, hold, or sell. Like my strategy personally would be to start investing like ASAP. If you don't have an investment plan already or a brokerage account or anything. I killed it with S&P, but left a lot of money on the table. Okay. So Stevie J, don't worry about that. You just said you killed it with S&P. And you see, you guys got to understand this. I want you to know that Stevie J, you should never be, don't think like that. I used to think like that. I used to go back and look at, oh my God, I got out too early. No, you do not want to be greedy. I'm telling you, because you know what greed used to make happen to me? I would be waiting on a play to go up, and then it start going back and down, and then I'd have been now lost the gains that I had. Like it doesn't, you can always get back in a play. It's gonna go up, it's gonna come down. There's back down. It's always opportunities, y'all. It is always opportunities. So I learned to take profit at certain levels. I don't care. Just like I told them, my Poet, I was waiting on it to hit 9. It hit, and then I was moving my stop loss up, by the way. It hit, and sometimes it'll come back and hit your stop loss and take off. I don't care. I stick to my principles. And this is where my stop loss is. Because when I used to move my stop loss down, like, oh, I need a little more room. That thing would drop down, and then I'd be hoping and a wishing that it would turn. And you can't hope and wish on the chart. Ain't no time. You got to trade the chart. You can't trade your emotions. You can't trade, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I hope that this changed. Like I used to do that, and yeah, that didn't work too well. So I love that you killed it and you took profit. Nobody can time the top and the bottom and all of that. If you got a profit and this is a level that you want to take profit because you can always get back in. Okay. So that's one thing that I stick to. I don't care if this play go up another 100. I said, hey, I got out it with Poet at 9. I said, I don't care if it go to 20. I don't care. Okay. Company match, but want to put some more to grow. Absolutely. Facts. Too much chasing on emotion with no clarity backfires a lot. And I have had that happen. I've had it happen enough to learn my lesson. Let me just say that. So I promise you, Stevie, I promise you, you did the right thing when you took profit. It don't matter if you left a lot of money on the table. Now, if you feel like you can work on that, then you can work on that just a little bit, but there's never anything wrong with taking profit because people who wait, sometimes they make a green profit go red. Okay. Am I long on profit? I'm long. I'm long enough to where I got time, but I still, even with time, I will get out of a play if it invalidates my reasoning. So, hey, what's up, George? So again, I'm in Poet, but everybody have different contracts. Okay. Some people have contracts that are, still this year. Some people have 2026, some people have 2027. So it just depends. I'm also in, sorry for clearing my throat, but got to do it sometime. I'm also in Lyft, and I'm also in NVIDIA. Okay. I'm a little down on my NVIDIA, maybe like 1%. I'm up on my Poet and my Lyft. And I have already taken profit with Poet. So, but I still got I still got contracts left. I bought several, and I got several contracts with Lyft as well. And if it dips, I'll buy more. Yeah, because I got my take profit. I got where I'm looking at Lyft to go. Okay. So again, I'm not telling you to buy anything. I'm not telling you what to buy, hold, or sell. This is for educational purposes only. So I'm not telling you to buy Poet. I'm not telling you to buy NVIDIA or Lyft. Do your own due diligence. Again, you don't want to just copy somebody's trade blindly, okay? Because you'll get messed up like that. But what you can copy is the discipline behind it. Okay. So I'm actually gonna go with my members and help them a little bit with that. Crypto speeds up your stock investment. Yeah, I mean, depending on your age, like a lot of older people are probably more into stock than crypto. A lot of younger people are probably more into crypto than stock. So everybody has a different game plan. But if you haven't joined again, like the video, if you haven't joined the Wealth and Wisdom community, make sure, Lyft, LYFT, yep. Make sure to join it. I'm going to go deeper into what this looks like. I'm still on YouTube's platform, so it's not like I can tell somebody what to buy or to sell, but I teach you how to think and how to build your house brick by brick, because that's exactly what it is. And it's only $3.99 a month. It's affordable. It keeps the channel growing. So even for some, it supports the channel, so I appreciate everybody who's joined already, and it helps me to be able to pour back into you with real education. So, but more than that, it gives you proximity to strategy. So that's what I'm there for. So you're going to learn how to create, your own playbook, how to think through the markets, how to stabilize your emotions, structure instead of chasing hype. I'm helping you with that. And if you want to go even deeper, I get people who ask all the time where I actually coach you. I just, again, had a very amazing session today with one of my coaching groups. I can coach you through the process step by step as well through our 90-day health and wealth challenge. So that's where I help you build a complete game plan. So for your finances, for your mindset, your habits, so you can start living in structure and not stress. I don't want you all living in stress. And that's where I help to build that complete game plan for you. Okay. So we're going to help your finances, your mindset, your habits, all of that. Link is in the description, by the way. Whether you join the membership or the full challenge, the goal is the same. And that's to help you to still build the kind of house that lasts. All right. Thanks, Breezy Bree. All right. Why did you buy Poet? And then many people may know what these companies trade under. Why did I buy Poet? I like Poet. I went through it in one of my videos, exactly why I like the company Poet. But swing trades is about the charts. Okay. I got in because of the chart, not necessarily because of the company. But I own shares because of the company. And I know it's more of a longer term, I'm thinking out into even 2026 for Poet. So I went through that in detail in one of my videos on Poet. Why I get into a swing trade and why I buy shares are for different reasons. Okay. What's up? Finally caught alive. I love it. I'm in love with QSI right now. I'm going to wait until it reaches ad before selling though. Yeah. Yep. ATH before. Yep. I love it. I love it. You got a game plan and you already know where you're going to take your where you're going to sell it, right? In the members only class where you have replay videos if we miss it live. Yes. Yes. But only members will be able to see the members only live. Okay. So the public cannot see what the videos that I do for the members. But yes, in the members only, you don't have to be there. You can go rewatch it like anything else. So you don't have to be there. So it's not like you got to be available for the lives. Okay. So, but they will only be available to the members. So the public cannot see the member videos. But I'm still here with you guys adding value and stuff. But I just want to go deeper and give a little more value to those who signed up for the membership. Only $3.99. Yes, actually, I can see whose members are not. You have a different color. So I often also will prioritize, comments and questions from my members. I can see who's a member and who's not. You have a different color in your comments. So thank you. I appreciate everybody who has invested. XDC has been an important mixer coming up in a few days. That's awesome. I'm heavy in XDC, so I got some XDC. How do we get notifications for members? You'll see it just the same. Turn on if you have your notifications on, you'll see it come through just like a regular video. And again, if you do miss it, it'll be there, but you'll see it come through. I'm about to hop off now, guys, and go and spend a little time with my members really quick. So I'll see you guys later. I want y'all to still continue to knock it out the park. Look, I want you to really understand that you're not going to beat the system by hoping it changes. That's not how it works. You beat it by out structuring it. And that's why I want to share these nuggets with you. Like in Monopoly, you got to start owning the board. Again, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me show. I have a new member. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'll see you in a minute. But I want to let you guys know before I leave that I really feel like a lot of people, they're rolling the dice and they're praying to land on a good square. But the owner is the one who gets paid every time somebody plays the game. And that's what y'all got to see. And that is the mindset that I'm trying to teach you. It's ownership. Okay. Ownership. The owner gets paid every time somebody plays. I like that setup. All right. I'll see you guys later.